game number 2 is getting underway between SjoW and JAB. Again, 13 wins between the two of these guys and only 4 losses so far.
Yeah, and I don't think JAB is going to be phased even the slightest here, and he is queuing up Druid, his best class so far. That is an Argent Squire. We're starting to see this a little bit here in the really aggressive Warlock decks. Just super face-oriented, very, very aggressive builds.
And a strong start from him as well. I mean, turn 1 Argent Squire, turn 2 Nerubian Egg, and then Power Overwhelming on that option. What an excellent start from him. JAB does have Keeper of the Grove and Shade, but no Wild Growth or Innervate inside.
Yeah, yet.
But
yeah, we've talked about this.
The keyword there.
What I was getting to is JAB has lost game 1 actually pretty often in his matches so far in HPL. He's got a couple game 1 losses, and it doesn't seem to affect him. He seems to still play, cool, calm, and collected, the key to the night here so far. So look for JAB to be just fine in this game.
I'm just going to hero power this Argent Squire. I think he's looking for Keeper of the Grove pretty darn certain, but he's got to keep his curve in consideration. So he's likely to be fighting from behind for a majority of this game.
Oh, good pickup here for SjoW.
Yeah, I mean, what a good pickup. Void Caller and Haunted Creeper to add to this board, and then Defender of Argus on turn 4. He's going to come out swinging. If JAB finds himself coining the Keeper of the Grove next turn, it could spell disaster for him.
You're going to see SjoW be very careful with his minion placement here because you want to make sure that he gets them exactly where he wants them for this Defender of Argus.
Yeah, typically you place them to the minions that spawn other minions to the left to keep that strict control. And Keeper of the Grove going to be used right away here, and SjoW going to be able to activate that Nerubian Egg with this Defender of Argus.
Well, he's going to silence the Nerubian Egg.
Yeah, but wow, now he's got Implosion.
Oh, he's got Implosion as well.
Swipe something he fears right now, though.
Yeah, I think you have to play around Swipe at least a little bit here because it's one of the ways you allow JAB to get back in this game.
I certainly agree with you to some extent, but at the same time, you got to make him have it. If he doesn't have Swipe in this position, you're going to snowball the game out of control.
That's also very true. But
seize the moment.
The thing is like you're ahead on board. You can continue to be ahead on board as Defender of Argus, and you're not going to run out of gas because of your hero power going for us, but he is actually going to use the Implosion here.
Yeah, would like to see him.
Oh, the full 4.
Yeah, the trade in here doesn't really matter because if he uses the Argent Squire and gets 4 anyway, he's going to end up with the same amount of minions, and JAB just gives him the well played. He's got no reasonable play behind this. Going to have to rely on Piloted Shredder, and this is SjoW's turn to take massive swings in this game and snowball it out of control.
Yeah, he's got a bevy of options here. He can use anything to kind of go into this Pilot Shredder, so he gets to use the Abusive Sergeant as well. Oh man, picks up an Imp Gang boss even as well. Jeez.
Everything going SjoW's way right now. So first half of the Pilot Shredder being taken out, and this next drop is going to dictate some stuff. Oh, he gets Vitality Totem too. That is miserable to get its 0 power minion out of Piloted Shredder. Now, how on earth does he win this game now?
Well, I mean, he can taunt up his Druid of the Claw as well, because SjoW's going to have to take out this Vitality Charm because it represents a lot of life going forward for JAB. JAB could just try to fight him on just a good card basis from here. He can taunt up here, and then next turn he's got Emperor Thor's on if he's not super under pressure. If he is, you may see him do something like Force of Nature to kind of clear some of the board here, but another Argent Squire picked up just so many 1-drops in SjoW's deck in his hand here, getting the full effect of this hero power.
Yeah, being able to Power Overwhelming this turn is really the big difference. Outside of Power Overwhelming, SjoW didn't have a very clear answer to this, but getting that extra damage is such a massive talking point for him. It looks like to me he even wants to continue to life tap in this game, but going to take his time. I mean, maybe this is a spot where he can use the Defender of Argus to keep his board fortified. That's also a possibility. But if he drops his Defender of Argus, he's not going to be able to add another minion to this. That 5/1's not dying until the end of turn.
Yeah, this is a problem that happens with this deck every now and then. It's a good problem to have, though. You fill up your board completely, very, very often, so you can't actually advance your board here. Things like Abusive Sergeant are going to sit in your hand.
Yeah, so just pushing for damage.
Good problem to have.
JAB, I mean, this is looking so miserable for him. I mean, again, he has Emperor Thor's on to add to this board, but how does he start fighting off this pressure? At every step of the way, SjoW able to trade up minions that aren't very useful anymore, and then life tap and continue to add pressure.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to Emperor Thor's on to really alleviate, the pressure in his hand going forward. Getting stuff like Ancient of War, plus, he can start using Force of Natures to help clean up this board going forward, because SjoW can't add a ton of pressure to him on the board this turn, because he can only play 1 card, I was supposed to say, unless he gets something like Doomguard.
Yeah, well, I mean, just Abusive Sergeant going to keep trading up minions here. And that's really the name of the game for this deck is, again, trade up your minions and then keep, take the damage you can get. This is one of the ways this deck stays so far ahead is that the resilient pressure keeps you from getting swept out a lot of times, and it also keeps you fighting in this game at every single step of the way. You think he's even going to empty his hand here and make way for this Doom Guard next turn?
Yeah, he's going to empty his hand here because if Jab does something that he needs to attack next turn, he's going to be able to get an easy Doom Guard turn. And if he doesn't, take care of his board, then that means you just get to attack him with everything.
Yeah, I mean, even Ancient Lord, it's looking scary on this board right now. He's got 1 card left. This just feels like Doom Guard.
Yeah, it feels like Doom Guard or some kind of removal spell. Something like maybe Iron Big Owl or Burn spell.
Yeah, I'm not going to uproot.
Oh, even adds power overwhelming. Wow.
Gosh, what a draw from SjoW right now. This is just, this is just getting worse and worse for Jab.
He can put it on the Argent Squire here and get even a free 5 damage.
I think he puts it on the Nerubian Egg and gets the 4/4 out of it. I mean, Drew does not have ways to clear board presence in massive ways like this, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Just everything going his way. He could even, I think, put 2 damage on his Doom Guard pretty safely here, but he's going to, maybe he overkills this. Doesn't look like he's going to. Even gets a life tap in this turn. How much better could it go for SjoW at this point?
Great draws, great turns here for SjoW.
Yeah, Jab's gonna have no way to answer this Doom Guard. This is a disaster for him. Even still being mindful of his position, important to always take into account. Void Color gets added behind this, but it's just too much damage at the end. Jab has no way to taunt.
Yeah, going down to 7.
No way to fend off this much board pressure.
Yeah, going down to 7, no way to deal with all of this going forward. Jab's gonna fall this game as well. What a draw here from SjoW.
What an effort from Jab, too. No Wild Growth, no Innervate. Those are 2 of the very key cards in this matchup. Trying to keep up the pace, but SjoW just has all the answers.
Yeah. This draw from SjoW is unbelievable. It feels like he's used every mana every turn in this game.
He's done an excellent job at it. That's what we've seen from him in the past is the perfect allocation of his resources to get to these kinds of stages.
Yeah, his aggressive decks are built so well with curve in mind. He knows that he needs to utilize every card perfectly, every mana perfectly to get these, extra little percentage points, this extra 1 or 2 damages through, and that's so big going forward in games. It gets you a lot of extra wins with these decks.
Yeah, even if it's just a couple every, say 100 games or whatever, you pick up 2 or 3 more wins.
That's a lot over the span of a year.
That's the difference between being a 50% player and then being a 53% player is that small edge. Jab going to continue to fight, but just, nothing in sight. Just nothing can save him at this point. E for effort, but at the end of the day, too much damage. SjoW going to take a 2-1 lead here over Jab. And he's looking absolutely dominant. He's poised to sit at 7-1. He needs 1 more game of the next 3 under his belt, and he's going to take this series. Unbelievable performance from him so far.
Don't write Jab out just yet, though. In our last match, we saw Nyria get a 2-0 lead over Dog, and Dog won 3 straight after that.